Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda, and this is the beginning of my mid-month book bash. If you don't know what mid-month book bash is, it was started by Doris at Aldi Books, and it's just the second weekend of each month. Dedicate some time, just really dedicate to getting caught up or work on your reading. I personally do it Wednesday to Wednesday, so it's a week. But yeah, that's the idea. And today's Wednesday, so we're gonna get started. My hair looks really nice because I just got back from the hairdresser. Again, it worked out. So this week, coming up this week, I don't have anything too out of the ordinary, except Sunday is Mother's Day. I have asked for bookshelves. I have been told that I will not be getting them. Just saying, my husband does not understand that there are so many people who are like invested in this battle of wills we have going. But anyhow, I keep saying I'm going to buy them myself, which it might actually happen sooner rather than later. We'll see. But other than that, Saturday evening, I have my marginalized authors book group. That always is the same Saturday as mid-month book bash. However, we only do a book every other month. So this is the month where we don't have a book, and we just have like a time to get together and talk about books that we're reading, just sort of loosely. So that's what's going to happen. But I wanted to go through with the books that I have going, because there are a lot. So let me start with the two that I don't have in any form here. The first is Tales of the Arabian Nights. I'm reading that with a group. I'm not super active in the chat. I'm not active at all in the chat, honestly, but I'm reading along with it and reading what their chats are. I am just a few days behind in it, but I'm getting caught up with it. And then also The Song of the Lark by Willa Cather, which I said I do as a group read on my Discord, and then I haven't even commented. I don't know if anyone else is reading it. I just finished the first section of it. I'm going pretty slowly with it. It was a rough start for me because there's a lot of stuff in that first part that seemed somewhat inappropriate, or maybe very inappropriate, with older men in the main character who was like 13 at this point. And that was very unsettling. And I was even wondering if I was going to continue. I have continued. We've gotten past that, mostly because she's now like 17. So, you know, whatever. So we'll see where it goes now. I'm just at the point now where she's going out into the world. So I have that. And then I have two buddy reads going. The first one, this is not the copy I'm reading. I'm reading because this is an old copy with small print. This is not in the right place. Anyhow, I'm reading this. I'm doing it a dual buddy read. So I'm reading it with Hannah from Savage Reads, and we're doing a Storygraph buddy read. And then I'm also reading it with Christina, commenter Christina, and we're doing it on Voxer. But this is Giants in the Earth by Edvart Rolvaag. This is a reread for me, but it has been a good 20 years since I've read it. This is a classic, an American classic that a lot of people don't read anymore. It's also interesting, it isn't considered American literature, but it's translated from the Norwegian. And when I talked about this before, I said, oh, this one's translated by Lincoln Colcord and the author. I'll be reading a different translation. No, there's only one translation of it, and it's this one. I'm just reading it on a digital version of it. I paid a whole whopping $2 for this copy, by the way. It's not an easy book to find. If you're gonna, I actually do recommend this book. I mean, I'm rereading it, so I do recommend it. Your best bet to get a copy is to go digital, honestly. But I'm reading this. This doubles for both Mental Health May and Misery May. Yeah, I'm not gonna say more about it because that would be, you could start getting into spoilers. But basically, I describe this as a dark little house on the prairie for grown-ups. Chris Wallach from the Book Cougars left me a message, and she said she read this right about the time she got into reading Willa Cather, and that's actually a really good pairing. So it just happens I'm also reading Willa Cather at the time. But yeah, this is about a family, a Norwegian immigrant family that settles in North Dakota. So it's them like going out there, and that's a very hard life. And I'll just say this ends in a sort of dramatic way that it was so realistic that it actually happened in my family. Let's just say that. So anyway, I'm reading this, and Hannah and I have scheduled this to read throughout the month. So I'm not planning to finish any of these books this weekend. The second one is one I just started this week with Aaron and Aaron Go Live, and this is Circe. I am not really reading this copy. I'm actually listening to it, but I think I'm going to have to reread the last chapter because I think I dozed off while I was listening to it last night. Not because it was boring, but because it was late and I'm old, and that's what happens. But I'm really enjoying this. It reminds me a lot of the writing, reminds me a lot of Natalie Haynes, who I love, and obviously the subject matter. Doesn't have the humor that Natalie Haynes has, although Natalie Haynes doesn't always have that humor. But yeah, I am actually really enjoying this so far. I'm only on I've read through chapter 8, and I will have to reread chapter 8 just before I comment to Aaron, so I get things straight. So I have those I'm reading in different formats. And then I have, you've seen this one before, this is a short story collection. So I'm not going to finish this because I'm going to finish this in a week, it looks like, because it's got 7 stories left or something. This is Atavists by Lydia Millet. I first read Lydia Millet when I went down to Arizona 2 months ago. That's 2 months ago now. End of March when I went down to Arizona. She is a Tucson author, and I went down to the Tucson area, and I read her book Dinosaurs, which I loved, and that was a 5-star book for me. So this is a short story collection that just came out. I started reading it as soon as I got in my hot little hands, which really is what we all should do with our pre-orders, right? Doesn't happen to me, but we should. Anyway, nice short stories. They're not too long. You could make an argument that this is a novel of interconnected short stories because the characters are all kind of together. Like each short story is based on a different character, but they're all kind of related to each other. And I might consider this a novel and short stories for one of my Storygraph prompts. Personally, I think a novel and short stories would be a little tighter than this one, but whatever. Just so you know, I quite liked this one. I don't think there's all of these stories come together to form a plot, shall we say. I think there's just looking at things from a different way, but I'm really enjoying this. And then I will be starting a new book for Historathon. You've seen this one too. This is book 3 in the series. I'm back to Alison Weir and Queens of the Age of Chivalry, England's Medieval Queens, part 3. And we're gonna kick it off with the she-wolf, Isabella of France. So we're in Braveheart now. I don't really like to promote Braveheart because Mel Gibson's creepy, but but that's, my husband loves that movie, so that's sort of like an anchor point in history for us. But I've read the first 2. I read the first one last year. I read the second one was let's just say last month I finished it. I read a Historathon book between that one and this one. And that was Embers of the Hands, which I finished yesterday. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. And then I went to my TBR, my physical TBR, or my May TBR, which is all physical books at this point, to pull something off that was calling to me. And I pulled this one off. The Invisible Life of Euridice Gusmao. This was actually the April book for Mariandre at Books and Bocadillos for her book club, but I overcommitted myself in April and didn't get to this. And the book that I finished right before this was Fahrenheit 451, which that's a book. I liked it, but it also kind of like shooketh me. So I needed something that seemed a little lighter, and this seemed to fit the bill. So we'll be starting this one today. And as I said, I don't actually plan to finish any of these books this weekend, so we'll see. The other book I might also start, I'm not going to talk about it, but I might also start another audiobook of for the BookTube prize. It's May. I have 2 books left, and I'm doing them both on audio. And so I don't know if I want to double up with Circe or not. I did recently double up. I just finished doing a double up with my previous BookTube prize book and A Discovery of Witches, because I started that reading with my eyes and then realized if I wanted to finish it, I had to do it on audio because I was working. And it was fine. I mean, it was doable. It just kind of cut down on the listening time for one or the other. So I haven't decided if I'm going to double up yet or not. Circe's not a super long audiobook, so I might wait. The audiobook that I have coming up next is one that I got from the library, so there is a time limit on it. I should be able to renew it, but it's not very long. but then the one that I have left is like, I think like 11 or 12 hours. So I need to fit those both in this month. We'll have to see how it goes. And I will put footage of the flowers in our front yard. I won't do a tour of the backyard because nothing is really in bloom now. You can see the apple blossoms are gone, but we have lots of baby apples coming up. The hydrangea hasn't bloomed yet. Yeah, so we're kind of past the blooming in the backyard, all the flowers in the front yard now. It looks like we're gonna have a really productive cherry season unless the birds decide to help themselves, which happens frequently. We usually have a very productive plum season because we have a plum tree back there, or an Italian prune tree. And then back here we have apples and pears. And as I said before, we don't actually eat those. We might make them into applesauce or cider or something, but we don't eat those because we don't spray, you know. So, but we have lots of little potential pears and apples. And then we have blueberries, which have been very iffy ever since a few years ago. We had a really bad heat wave, like 110 plus, which is very hot for this part of the world. But it hit in June, right as the blueberries were coming out, and our blueberry bushes have not ever fully recovered from it. They've gotten a little bit better each year, but they still aren't to where they should be. So we'll see how blueberries go. And then we have some everbearing, but blueberries don't usually come out till around, they aren't usually ready until about the 4th of July. And then we have some everbearing strawberries, which should come out in like a month or so. We also have some raspberry bushes that my husband planted too late in the season last year. He got them from some friends of ours to really produce anything last year, but this year we should get some, and I love raspberries. What else do we have? We have the fig tree that looks like a stick right now, although I do have confidence that it is not dead. I think we just transplanted it to our yard last year, and I think it's just recovering from that. So anyway, that's the yard update. There's really nothing to see, so I won't do a tour. You can watch my front yard video. Don't get creepy with my house number. I'm gonna try and like edit it or block it out when I film, but just if you do see it, don't get creepy. There you go. But yeah, so now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start reading, and I will talk to you later. I just ran to get the mail, so I thought I would do a flower check. I'm gonna try and not show my house, not show my house number, but yeah. It was there for just a sec, so don't be creepy. Anyway, our flowers our roses are all in bloom. I'm going to show this one over here. Sorry, I got my mail in my hand right there. It's small. It's one of the newest, probably the newest one here, but it's a cherry parfait rose. And I saw it when we were at Shore Acres State Park down by Coos Bay, Oregon, and it was beautiful. And so my husband bought me one of those, but yeah. I can't take any credit for the roses. It's all my, it's on my house number again. Don't be creepy. My husband gets all the credit for the roses, not me. Hi y'all, it is Friday, May 9th, and I didn't update yesterday because I had great plans. I had my morning all mapped out. I was going to go to the library, run a couple errands, get the car washed because my car was literally changing color from the pollen on it, and then come back and join Caitlin and Bandy's books for her sprints. That was all planned out. And then white smoke happened. And if you've seen I talk about this in my weekly wrap up, which I just filmed a little while ago. So yeah, I got sucked into the whole Pope thing, and I won't talk more about that really, but I did end up getting groceries because I had to do that, and I did get the car washed because I had to do that, but the rest of it didn't happen. So yeah, and I didn't get a chance to update yesterday, but I have been enjoying my reading. I have really been enjoying it. So as I said, I'm not expecting to finish anything this week, although I may finish Euridice Gusmao because that one's going really quickly. And this is what happens when you're outside. People bringing the garbage cans in. That is not thunder. That's my neighbor's garbage can. But that's going really quickly. So I may finish that this weekend. But this week before Wednesday. I am keeping up. I have 2 buddy reads going. I went all through this before, but I did end up putting the book Conclave on hold because I have been saying I want to see this movie. I have been saying this ever since it hit streaming, which I think happened when it was still in the theaters, right? And I have not seen it because I have no desire to sit in front of the television. None. I just don't want to do it. The only television I have watched lately is I turned on my favorite streaming service, which is History Hit, to watch a history documentary while I was making dinner one night. That's it. That's all I've done. I have no desire to do that. However, sitting listening to an audiobook for 2 hours while playing a coloring game on my iPad is wonderful. So I think I'm just not. Anyway, I realized I'm just going to have to read Conclave and not see the movie, at least not anytime soon. And I've missed the opportunity now. Fun fact. According to his brother, the night before Conclave started, then Robert Prevost got into like the mood of things by actually watching the movie Conclave. Very good. That's what his brother said. He and his brother also do Wordle every day. So that's interesting. Okay, back up. Anyway, so I'm waiting for that hold to come in. I did get some, I have a lot of print books to read this month. I'm set with print. I am set with audio because once I finish Circe, I have to go back to booktube prize audios. But I don't have a lot in. I'm still working on Song of the Lark, which I'd like to finish, although that's a much longer book than I expected. I don't have a lot of digital books, so I do have a couple on hold that aren't really speaking to me, or they're in from the library, but I'm holding on to them just in case. I did check out the 4th book in the Matthew Shard Lake, which might actually be the next book I read digitally. And I have Conclave on hold. So we'll see where I go once I finish Song of the Lark, which again, I have like 6.5 hours left according to my Kobo. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's my reading. We have another day of gorgeous weather and it's supposed to start raining soon. Having mood swinging weather is very common for the spring in this part of the world, Pacific Northwest. It is common, but I don't like it. The last couple of years we've been pretty spoiled, like it got nice and it stayed nice. So this sort of up and down weather that we're having this year, while completely normal, is throwing me for a loop. But whatever. The cat is outside. She's enjoying the sun. She's sunbathing. That's why I get attention. As soon as I unlock the door to come out here, she comes running. But I have to be careful. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but we have a cat in our neighborhood that looks just like my cat. She roams the neighborhood. I'm assuming the cat is female because both cats are calicos and calicos tend to be females. But she's decided that our yard is where she likes to hang out. And my cat is very territorial and not afraid to pick a fight. So I have to make sure that the other cat isn't out here, which kind of makes me mad because it's like our yard and it's like Alice's place to go. She's an indoor cat, but she goes in our backyard and she doesn't ever leave our backyard. That's her place. And she only does it when the weather's nice. And it's just kind of like, why can't people keep their cats inside when they live in neighborhoods like this? And also, we have raccoons in this neighborhood, and across the street we have coyotes. So don't let your cats run around free. A couple days ago, I did almost let this cat into our house thinking it was Alice. That's how close they look alike. Anyway, Alice has rolled around in the dirt, so she's all dusty now, and she's just enjoying the sun. I'll give you a little peek at her, and then I will go back in. I have to, I've got a video that I tried to film out here, and the light was just too weird, so I'm just going to take it back inside. But we'll peek at Alice there. Is she there? Can you see her? Alice? Did you see her? I don't know. I'll cut that out if you didn't see her. Here, I'll just front yard right now. I'm about to go get the mail. It's Saturday, the 10th, and I have to make a confession, I guess. I don't know. I have to stop complaining about the bookshelves. So my husband said he would get me a bookshelf, and I was so excited. Yay, I'm getting my bookshelf. And we started measuring things and figuring out where it would go. And then I realized I want to do something completely different with my books. I'm not sure what it is yet. I want to move some stuff around, and I'm not sure what I'll end up deciding to do will work with the kind of shelves that I want, or he was going to get me. So I told him not to worry about the bookshelves. So I have to stop complaining about it. Although I do have it now on record that he will buy me a bookshelf when I'm ready. So it is coming. I just need to decide. I think I might move some furniture around and maybe put the books in a different room in our front room. I don't know. I have to kind of think about it and see. So yeah, Anyhow, I thought I would update you on that because a lot of people have been asking me about the bookshelves. I told him he could get me like a washing machine or a dishwasher instead for Mother's Day because we need both of those. Ours work, but they're dying, and you always want to replace those before they die, not after they die. Especially with my husband, who takes a long time to make a decision. So there you go. Anyhow, yeah. So I am going to be doing a lot of reading this weekend. I have my Marginalized Authors book group tonight, but we aren't discussing a book. We're just going to talk about books. And then tomorrow's Mother's Day, and I told my husband, besides the dishwasher, well, bookshelf, then the dishwasher, washing machine thing, that what I wanted was French toast for dinner because I love French toast, and I never have it. And then I want them to leave me alone so I can read. So there's that. Anyway, I'm off to go get the mail. Talk to you later.
This is the only mail we got, and it's the fall and winter catalog, which means I think we've missed our chance to get stuff for summer, at least from Territorial. But yeah, so I'll show this to my husband. He does like to grow garlic, so maybe he'll get some garlic. We'll see.
Hey y'all, it's Monday. I'm in my car. I just came back from the grocery store. I didn't update yesterday because it was Mother's Day and I was reading. Sometimes I do this. I will, on weekends, I will say, okay, today I'm just going to concentrate on one of the books I'm reading. So on Saturday, and I didn't have that much time to read on Saturday, but on Saturday I said I'm going to concentrate on Circe, which I did, and I finished Circe. I really loved it. I still need to talk to Aaron about it. And then yesterday, which was Mother's Day, Sunday, I said I'm just going to concentrate on The Invisible Life of Euridice Gusmao. And I read for quite a bit. I have like 20 pages left. I had to stop because my eyes were giving out. So yeah, that's where I am with my reading. Otherwise, it was a nice Mother's Day. I had my French toast for dinner. I've realized I'm not a pancake person. I'm a French toast person. I don't know what it is, but there you go. And I still need to order my new washer and dryer that I'm getting instead of bookshelves, but I'm okay with that because I know that when I need them, I will be getting the bookshelves. I have my husband on record for that. So that is a good thing. Anyhow, that's kind of what's going on. I did want to do a quick recap or a quick check-in. I don't think this is going to end up being a very long mid-month book bash vlog, but that's okay. I've actually been getting a lot of reading done. So, and it's kind of, it feels like it's sunny out, but it's really not. We're in, our fake spring is over. So we are now back into solidly high 50s, low 60s weather with rain. I had to put socks on yesterday, which made me mad. Today I am not. Like, that's my things. I just don't like wearing socks. I mean, it's fine when it's cold out. I don't have a problem then. But like this time of year, I don't think I should have to wear socks. And I had to put socks on yesterday. It was just really sad. Anyway, that's my life. I may check in later today after I finish Euridice Gusmao, I should say. Anyway, there you go. Y'all, I filmed this whole thing and wasn't filming. It's been that day. It is Tuesday, the 13th. I have to leave in a little bit, but I wanted to do a quick check-in as far as reading. I'm going to be focusing my reading today, which might be a little bit limited in time, but I need to get it done. Focusing my reading on Giants in the Earth because I'm doing this as a buddy read with Hannah and I am behind. I need to finish my section today. I focused on other books this weekend and got behind on that one. It's not a huge deal, but I do need to get it done. I don't want to fall behind. But I also wanted to show you two other books. This is what I'm going to be starting possibly today, if not today, tomorrow. And that's The Wanderer's Curse by Jennifer Hope Choi. I have talked about this in both my, well, it wasn't my TBR. It was the weekly wrap-up I did after my TBR to add this to my monthly TBR, but also in my April book haul because this was an ARC that I picked up on my library's ARC shelf. And it's basically a memoir of a young woman and also her mother. They're Korean American, talking about a curse of like not being able to stay living in one place. They move around a lot. So I thought that sounded really interesting. It's very clear I am not going to be doing 25% of my, or 50% of my reading AAPI this month, even though it is AAPI, that I just have to accept that's an unrealistic goal on my to do for these months. It worked for February. It's not going to work for any other one. It just isn't. But I did want to at least make sure I got one AAPI book under my belt. The other book I have is, this is not, I'm going to share this here because it's not a TBR book, but I did just get it. So I'm not going to include it in my book haul. As I have mentioned many times, I am an Episcopalian, and Episcopalians, they love their prayer books. And recently I was looking at some Penguin Classics because I love the Penguin Deluxe Classic editions. And I was getting a couple books that I do have plans to read in the future, Penguin Deluxe Classics. And I saw that they have this, the Book of Common Prayer. This is not the current Book of Common Prayer. I have one of those. That's the one that we use every Sunday. I have one of those. This is the 350th anniversary. Let me see if I can get the copyright for this copy and we can math it back. Hold on a sec here. 2012. So 350 minus 2012. You've got a calculator. The 1600s. I think this is the 16. I don't know. Whatever. Do the math. Anyway, I was really interested to find this because of one specific service, and it's one that I'd first heard about from Reverend Lizzie McManus Dale, who is an Episcopal priest, and I'm reading her book right now. So at some point I'll be talking about her book. And she talked about this old service that she found called churching, the churching of women. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And it's a service that you do, I think, 40 days after a woman gives birth. And it's sort of like welcoming them back into society after, their recovery from giving birth. But I'm also reading The Queens of the Age of Chivalry by Alison Weir. And this also started, I think she mentioned it also in Queens of the Crusades. All these queens go and they have their churching services. So I was like, does this book have a churching service in it? And it does. So it's called The Thanksgiving for a Woman After Giving Birth. Thanksgiving, after childbirth, or commonly called the churching of women. So it says, the woman at the usual time after delivery, which I believe is 40 days, shall come into the church decently apparelled. And there shall kneel down in some convenient place as hath been accustomed, or as the ordinary shall direct, the ordinary being the priest. And then or an official in the church. And then the priest shall say unto her, and then it goes in this. And this is just a blessing service and to welcome her back into the church society, because you recovered for a long time. Childbirth was a really dangerous thing. I mean, it's still dangerous, and it's more dangerous than it needs to be in the United States, but it was very dangerous back then. So this is a big thing. It's a little service, but it is a Thanksgiving service, not just for, giving birth, but the fact that the mother is healthy. And I just thought that was very interesting. They also have a combination or denouncing of God's anger and judgment against sinners. That's not a service we have in the current prayer book. So I just thought this would be really an interesting book to have. I'm going to have to start a little collection on my keeper shelf of prayer books, apparently, because I'm getting quite a few of them. But to have as a reference just for myself and, the current Book of Common Prayer, and compare them and things like that. But I just wanted to share this with you because it's not considered, it's not going to be part of my book haul because it's not a to be read book. But anyway, so that's what's going on. I wanted to share those. This video is going out Thursday, the 15th. And coming up, I have not one, but 2 reading event announcements. So stay tuned. Yes, I'm doing 2 kind of simultaneous, but it's okay. One is for June and one is for the whole summer. And they work very well together. And I'm very excited to tell you about them. They're both, you know what they are. If you haven't figured out what they are, like the first announcement is going to be on this coming Sunday. And I'm not sure when the second announcement is going out. But it's for the whole summer. So you probably know what one I'm helping with, but you'll hear more information about that. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick update on that because, as I said, most of my reading today, when I get a chance to read, is going to be Giants in the Earth, so I can catch up and not hold Hannah back. Okay. Maybe I'll see you later today. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Hello. It is Wednesday the 14th. I am wrapping this up. My beautiful unmade self. I have to do this quickly because I have to go pick up Chinese food for dinner. I had what I set out to thaw for dinner did not thaw, so we're having Chinese food. Anyway, I finished a book that I didn't expect to finish this week, and that was Atavists by Lydia Millet. This is a short story collection, and they're sort of interconnected. I mean, they are interconnected, but they're very loosely interconnected. Not enough to give you an overarching plot, but just enough that you see the same characters kind of time and again. I really enjoyed this. You know, with any short story collection, some stories work better than others. But generally, I really enjoyed this. It's just mostly a look at kind of like modern life and being a little overwhelmed with it. It's just it's just life. That's what this book is. And I really like Lydia Millet's writing style. I can't believe I hadn't read her until this past March. But I really enjoy her books. And her books are not long. At least the ones I've read, excuse me, have not been long. So that is always good. So anyway, that is my reading week for Mid-Month Book Bash. As I said, I'm off to get Chinese food. We haven't had Chinese food in a while, so this is a good thing. And I will be editing this tonight and putting it up tomorrow. So like, subscribe, join my Discord. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.